and joins us now live just to talk to us about the diaspora vote, how the preparations are going from that end. And a very good evening to you, team. I know you're 2 hours behind us. What can you tell us about what the feeling is like ahead of the polls?
Well, good evening to you too, Sharon. It's good to speak to you, good to see you. Now, here in London, which will be one of the polling centers as part of the diaspora votes, it's been all systems go. In fact, the members and officials from the IEBC have been holding consultative meetings with the staff here at the Kenya High Commission just to make sure that the process tomorrow is as seamless and as smooth as possible. About an hour ago, a high-stakes meeting concluded. I was able to sit briefly into that meeting just to try and gauge the level of preparedness by both the High Commission to host this particular event as well as the IEBC to be able to conduct these particular elections. Now, maybe you can see or maybe you can't, but there's a list of names behind me attached here at the entrance of the Kenya High Commission. Now, this list contains the names of the registered voters here in the United Kingdom. Remember, the United Kingdom comprises of ideally 4 nations: England, where we are, there's Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. So it's estimated that Kenyans have been spread far and wide in this particular country, forming the United Kingdom, and their names should be here if indeed they were able to register during the first phase of the registration last year and the second phase, which began earlier this year. Now, in London, there have been about 798 official registered voters who are expected to make their way to the High Commission tomorrow from 6 a.m. when the doors open. But the IEBC, according to their website, has been able to register 10,444 diaspora voters, which forms the largest number of diaspora voters in Kenya's electoral history. Now, this is a pool of voters that comes from 12 different countries. If I could maybe be able to remember them, I hope I will, Sharon. If you're a diaspora voter in Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan, South Africa, the United Kingdom, where I am, the United States, the United Arab Emirates, Germany, Canada, and Qatar are the 12 countries. I hope I got all of them. Kenyans in those countries and in specific cities within those countries will be able to exercise their democratic right tomorrow, making it one of the most historic electoral processes in the country. Now, in regards to the technicalities, first and foremost, the IEBC has informed us that you will be allowed to vote if you're in the diaspora if you carry the document which you used to register as a voter earlier on this year. So, for instance, if someone registered with their Kenyan passport or the East African passport, then that is the document you have to carry with you tomorrow. Do not carry your ID if you did not register with your Kenyan ID. The reverse is also true. If there's a Kenyan living in the diaspora in any of the 12 nations that have listed who registered with their ID, then that is the document they have to carry with them at the polling centers in which they're going to vote. If you carry your passport as opposed to your ID, yet you registered with your ID, the IEB says you will not be allowed to register. In regards to the diaspora vote, it should be an easy process on the face of it because remember, Sharon, only the presidential ballots have been distributed to the 12 countries involved in the diaspora voting. So once somebody makes their way to the High Commission or the embassy, depending on which part of the world the Kenyan is, you check your list, you check your name if it's on the list, after which you're ushered into the High Commission. From that particular point, you will be, the IEBC officials rather will check that you are actually registered on the online registration biometric system, after which you're given a presidential ballot paper. You have to ensure the ballot paper is stamped at the back, otherwise that vote will not be counted and will not be deemed to be valid. After you've been given the ballot paper, you've confirmed it's been stamped, you can head over to the booth and then you can be able to cast your vote and wait for the results. For the UK, there will be 2 polling stations because there are about 798. And by law, if it's more than 400 voters, there has to be another polling station. But earlier on, Sharon, I was able to speak to a few Kenyans who were anxious to be able to exercise their democratic right for the first time. Many of them have lived in the United Kingdom for more than 20 years.